Well, I was going to say welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge, and we're live here on the Lakers Lounge. I'm Anthony Irwin, as always, joined post game by Raj Chapalu. The Lakers lose game one, 132 to 126, and now trail in a series for the first time all playoffs. And there are 73 different ways that we can go here with
Yeah.
this with the conversation after this. I'm gonna let you, Roz, choose where we go.
Well, I think, so this obviously being down 18 to start the game, and I think we can start with the starters, right? So Darvin Ham started out with Dennis Schroeder starting for Vanderbilt, which I did not expect. I know I saw you tweeting about that you didn't like the the three guard lineup that he went to,
Nope.
and I thought that really put us in a hole. It forced Austin Reeves to guard MPJ, and I thought Michael Porter Jr. just shot right over him as expected. And then the offensive rebounding, I think they had like 15, 16 offensive rebounds in the first half, and then didn't have a single one in the third quarter.
At one
And I
point,
think
they had missed. I think they had missed like 11 shots and had 9 offensive rebounds in the first half.
Yeah, and it was a lot of just Jokic getting tip-ins. I thought Bruce Brown did a nice job, and Aaron Gordon as well. I thought our effort and intensity as well kind of combined. I thought it wasn't just a three-guard lineup. I thought like our effort and intensity. And when you go to
Yeah.
three small guards, and a lot of that to me, the guard that struggled was D'Angelo Russell. I thought D'Lo was not ready at all for the physicality that
No.
Denver forces you to play with. And also, I thought LeBron and AD were kind of standing and watching. Aaron Gordon's very active on the offensive board. He's a guy that if you don't put a body on him, he is going to impact. He is going to get a hand on it. He's going to touch it. He's going to draw a foul or something. So I thought we weren't ready for that, but I thought we stepped up in the second half a little bit better. But yeah, I expect that starting lineup to change. I think it'll be Rui Hachimura who starts, in game two. But that three guard lineup, I thought really put us in a hole, and we were down 18 at halftime. They hit some nuclear shots. I mean, Jamal Murray's step back jumpers. I feel like he just made another one. Anthony, like I'm pretty sure the game ended and he just scored
Yeah.
again. But yeah, I thought that put us in a hole.
Yeah, that Jokic three, I was able to
Oh,
kind of laugh at in the moment because the Lakers were already down like 14. Like it pushed the lead to 14, and I was like, oh, fuck it. If he's going to make that game or that shot, you may as well make it in a game that you're not going to win anyway, right? And then the Lakers make their run back, and the whole time they're making their run back, I'm thinking, that fucking three. That stupid three. And then that one shot that Murray made that was like at the end of the shot clock, that was literally him like, I'm left-handed, so it's a little, obviously inverted. But he's like, he's pumping, and then like you look up, oh shit, I have to shoot it, and he just kind of like fires it away, you
swish.
know, and that one goes in like nothing but the bottom. And that's 5 points in a game that the Lakers at one point were down by only 3. The Lakers
Yeah.
could have been up, but not that it necessarily works that way. I do want to start though, like you mentioned, with the starters, and unless you're Quentin Tarantino, the start is usually the best place to start. And do you know who Quentin Tarantino is?
He's like the actor, right? The actor or
Mhm.
producer, movie director or something. Like I've heard of Quentin Tarantino. I don't know the context behind him, but I've heard that name in the
He's like one
sphere.
of the most famous directors of all time.
Okay.
And he's kind of like known for messing with the timeline. He'll start like at the end and then kind of work his way to it. Yeah, he's just kind of all over the place, and he uses the N word a lot in his movies, way too much, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But like so anyway, the uh, the Lakers, like you said, they start with Dennis. Pete thought, he and I recorded before the game, and Pete said that he thought Dennis would start. And as he was
Right.
kind of like talking through it, he mentioned, you could also go with Rui there, and that was the choice I would have gone with. The thing that I liked heading into this matchup, the reason why I felt a little bit more confident going into this matchup against the Nuggets is because it allows the Lakers to go back to that bigger, stronger, more physical mentality and identity. And when you start so small, and dude, how were you getting flashbacks to earlier this season? Because I was,
Of the
where
three
like
guards.
where yeah, with they look so small out there. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not just that you had 3 guards, but there were 3 like noticeably smaller human beings. Jamal Murray is like a bigger guard. Contavious
Right.
Caldwell Pope is like 6'5".
Against one of the
MPJ is
biggest
like
lineups in
six
the league.
nine. Yeah, and then you have Aaron Gordon who's like 6'9" ish and thick, and then you have Jokic who just is 7 feet 290. Although apparently when you're 7 foot 290, all it takes is like a brisk gust of
Oh, the
wind
flops.
to knock you over. Fuck off. But like I thought that you go that small, and like you said, I think it's a really good point to make, is like not only strategically was it a bad move, I thought, but then the execution of that was just god awful. When you're that small, you have to fly all over the court. You have to play more physical, because you know that when you're small, you're going to be able to get away with more, right? And I just thought that the Lakers really just kind of were super passive and small. And yeah, that's how that's going to go. When you're super passive, small, and you're not out shooting the other team, you're going to be down by 18 points during warmups, and that's essentially what the Lakers were looking at.
Yeah, and I also thought we took terrible shots, and I thought our offense was too like there was too many players getting. We were having Austin Reeves, ISO, D'Lo was terrible all night, but the quick post up shots, like I thought our offense was too democratic. I thought LeBron and AD were getting whatever they wanted, and to
Mhm.
me, I said this before the series started that our best defense is a solid
So is
offense.
this you being pro dictator? Like,
Is that yeah
you
in
want a
this
fascist offense? Like, is that, is
the
really
term I
looking for
used
those.
on Twitter was equal opportunity, but yeah, sure.
You're looking for those fast break points, right? Like,
Oh man. Oh, don't do that. Not get political here. But yeah, like I thought our offense ran too much around our guards in a place where I thought LeBron and AD got whatever they wanted. And I think that's what I take from this game, Anthony. Again, to lose the battle, win the war type of stuff. I thought LeBron and AD got whatever they wanted. They gave up the switch with him and Jamal Murray so much that late in the game, they just started Jamal Murray on LeBron. They're like, Murray, just guard him because you're just getting the switch anyway. And I thought it kind of messed with us because LeBron's like, wait, you're gonna put Jamal Murray on me purposefully? Like I don't even need to run any action. And I thought that kind of got us out of our
yeah.
motion that we were running. But yeah, like I liked a lot of what I saw in this game, and that the starters, that was tough. I thought D'Lo had a really tough game, and again, I think like to stop Denver, you need to slow the pace down. This game needs to be ugly, it needs to be rugged, and I thought that's what it was in the second half. If you let Denver get out in transition, and didn't every KCP shot just feel like a bullet to the
God,
chest?
man.
Every single shot, and he looks better than he was. Give him credit. He looks smooth,
Yeah.
like he looks
Doing shit
decisive
off
in
the
his
dribble.
actions.
When did KCP learn how to dribble? What?
Or that, or not just that, the like quick decisiveness,
Oh
like
no,
where
for
like
sure. Yeah.
he threw it in the post to Jokic. Austin Reeves just
Reset.
hinted at helped, like he
Yeah.
barely
Just
tagged
floated
below.
over.
Yeah, got the pass right back and hit a three on him, and I'm like, man, he was incredible this game. But yeah, you keep them out of transition, keep them out of I thought we did a good job pretty much keeping them out of the paint. And then in the second half, I thought we really slowed their offense down. In the first half, it was too much transition. Jamal Murray got loose. Jokic, handling the ball in transition, doing no look passes. He was just insane. He had maybe one of the best games that a player can have tonight. But yeah, I thought we did a much better job in the second half of kind of controlling the game, controlling the pace at our tempo.
Before we get to the second half, though, I do want to stress that um, while Rui played really well, and I think
Mm.
that's something to build off of. I think a big part of why that second half went like even worse than it could have is Vanderbilt came in and was an unmitigated disaster, right?
Uh,
Like if you're gonna like commit to the bigger athletic identity, Vanderbilt's a part of that. Like he has to be a part of that, and you never felt comfortable when he was guarding Jamal Murray. You never felt comfortable when he was maybe trying to slow down MPJ. Like he he might be he might get DNP CDs from here on out, and um, he's frankly earned them. The other guy who I think might have earned a consideration in that regard was D'Angelo Russell, because like you're talking about, when you're a point guard, and I know he doesn't like being called a point guard, which is like really weird. Like I've never heard of a I've heard of some players like not want to be called a center because a center is kind of like a goofy position. It's not considered like one of the cooler positions. But like I've never heard of a player say like, "No, I don't want to be a point guard." I've never heard that. Somebody with ball skills, like I've never heard that before. Red flag,
Yeah.
big time red flag going into the offseason. But like when your point guard, when like your $30 million a year point guard helps set a tone of passivity, that is really difficult to overcome, you know? And like he would take, like essentially all D'Angelo Russell does at the beginning of these games now is um, get roasted on defense and take shots that don't really involve anybody else. And um, that combination there is just not playoff basketball, you know. And I he's gonna have to figure out something, or else like he might be like a 10 to 15 minute a night player.
Yeah, I thought his defense was really bad. He got some open looks early that didn't fall, and again, I think those early transition threes like that plays right into Denver's hands. To me, you don't want to be taking
Yeah.
those. Him and Austin, I thought took some bad ones. D'Lo's a
When
guy though,
nobody
like
else touches the ball, like nobody else is touching the ball on a lot of his attempts.
that's what I mean by the dictatorship offense. Like to me, there's just no reason to take terrible quick shots. I think LeBron can get the switch and we can move the ball, get open looks. That last play, like we had Dennis Schroeder drive and like try to create something. I was like, man, we're getting so much out of it, like just hunting them on switches. D'Lo's the same though, but Anthony, I don't think we win this series if D'Lo like can't shoot. Like I think that's a problem. Like I think him being able to shoot is an issue.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to make shots. He got outplayed by Lonnie Walker tonight on both ends. I thought Lonnie was so much better than him, and I think that blew out in the numbers. D'Lo had finished a minus 25,
Yeah.
which I think was worse on the team. But yeah, if he can't guard and he can't hit open looks, he's not going to play. He didn't play the fourth quarter. Dennis Schroeder took his minutes. Lonnie Walker took his minutes, and I think it's going to be a quick hook for him and Vando. I think Vando's going to live in those non-AD minutes, which you just mentioned is probably going to be 6 to 7 minutes a game. This might not be his series. It wasn't a Rui series in Memphis. Against Golden State, and this looks like more of his type of style. And this just might not be a Vanderbilt series. Jamal Murray, he was picking up full court Bruce Brown, and then Brown just drove by him and dunked it, and just he's trying to up the intensity in a game where like you need to be smart with your pace. I thought he doubled recklessly on Jokic for no reason, left some shooters open there. And Murray's just a bad matchup for him. Murray is too skilled. He has too many moves to like be, to have Vanderbilt live on his hip, and him and Jokic's screen game is just throwing him off. So it might not be his series. But I think D'Lo has to be able to score. Like I don't think Austin can draw. What do you have, 25 tonight? Like I think
Yeah.
D'Lo needs to take some of that pressure off him, where if they have Jamal Murray guarding D'Angelo Russell, he should be able to come screen for LeBron and get good looks. I'm not going to put him off the hook here and just have him not play. I think he needs to have a better series, and he has these games as well throughout the playoffs where he'll just be a total dud and then come the next game and have 25. So I'm still positive that he should be able to get loose in this series. Like I just don't see anyone locking him up. They're not throwing so much defensive attention on D'Angelo Russell.
I think I'd rather see him with the second unit though. Like I think I'd rather see him play with LeBron and play off of LeBron and play with that. Now the thing is though, you kind of want Schroeder with that unit because he's a better defender and because Ham doesn't want to play Wenyen Gabriel. Like you have to up the perimeter pressure to not allow them to get to the rim. And with that second unit, like that second unit tonight, I think lost their minutes, like in the minutes that Jokic didn't play. I think they lost those minutes. Yeah, and like that can't happen, and it's been the same thing, by the way, all playoffs. Like he just keeps going to that LeBron Rui combination, and I just want to see once. I just want to see once Vando out there, or not Vando, Wenyen with that group. Create a couple extra possessions, make it so that they don't get any extra possessions on the other end. You have Rui out there, you have LeBron, and if that might allow you to play Russell with that group and help some with the spacing. But I just think that lineup with LeBron and Rui as the front court, his hemorrhaged points, especially compared to expectations, all playoffs, and at some point, man, it's at some point you got to stop smashing your head up against the brick wall. Although based off of your facial expressions, you might disagree.
Yeah, I think in this series, I don't think Wenyan, like if he's not playing now, I just don't think he's getting in. Mobamba, I'm not even sure if he's in Denver, and Tristan Thompson, I want far away from the court. So
Bomba's
like I
hurt. Bomba was not able to play tonight.
Right. That's what I was saying. I'm not sure if he's in Denver or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I actually like the so to me the Vando, Rui, and LeBron lineup is okay. I thought we were surviving those minutes, and to me, again, those are just
but you can't
LeBron.
survive those minutes though. Like
We were doing.
when Jokic is out, you have to be able to like get some of that back. You can't just be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, thank God we survived while Jokic was sitting."
no. I'm not saying that, but I think it gives us enough size to where, like, look at the lineups they're putting out in that time frame, right? It's Jeff Green, it's Christian Braun, it's Aaron Gordon, right? That's the front court that you are facing. To me, that lineup got loose because I think Jamal Murray was out there and he was getting absolutely free on these screens. We were just
Mhm.
unattached to him, and I thought that's where he went off. Also, some bad turnovers as well. I forgot the exact sequence, but I remember we cut it to like 10. And then I forgot and then we had like a bad turnover. I think Dennis had like a turnover or something, and they went the other way, and then it was like a 7-0 run really quick. But I'm fine with that as the backup. Now it gets a little tricky because I think Rui's gonna start game 2, so I'm not sure how they facilitate that. But to me, that's where Vando, LeBron, and Rui, that should be enough to sustain enough defense where 80's off the floor. I think that's the plan. It looks like Anthony Darvingham, he timed Jokic's minutes with AD tonight, which
Yeah.
I didn't expect. He hasn't done that all playoffs, and this is the first series where he's timed 80's minutes with another player, and I thought that was great. I thought that was the right decision. And if that's the thing going forward, then I'm fine with that lineup. I just don't see another big man entering. Wenyan, maybe you can throw him in there. It's been so long since he's played. I'm not sure if he's entering the rotation now.
I just don't think you can be much worse than Vanderbilt was tonight. he was
Yeah,
he was devastating. Like so many. He picked up what? I'm looking at his numbers. Vanderbilt had 3 fouls in 10 minutes. Man, he was just like a doofus out there. Like he just looked
uh,
completely ill-equipped to handle those minutes. And now, oddly, I guess to your point, the Lakers were a +5 in those minutes. Though I think he played some with that group that got them back into the game late in the game, and I think that kind of skews some of that. But
yeah.
like in that first half, when Jokic sits, like ask anybody covering the Nuggets, anybody whatsoever, and anybody who has watched the Nuggets at all this season, if they win or stay even in the non-Jokic minutes, you're toast. Like you can't come back from it, and you certainly aren't going to come back from it if they win those minutes while you're down 18, right? And you've already given up that big of a lead. You just have to play so perfect to have a chance at winning it. And we'll talk about the second half here in a second. Yeah, maybe I'm overreacting to that I
Well,
guess clumsy stretch that we saw from Vanderbilt, but he was also bad against Golden State and frankly started getting played off of the court in the Memphis series too. So like
yeah,
he just might not he can't shoot, and it allows them to not guard somebody on defense. And then also like he's not creating extra opportunities by getting in there and being physical and getting fouled going for offensive rebounds, or by just like even merely tapping the ball out. Like I don't really know. And then he had plays where he was getting blown by with guys that like you're hoping that he like breaks up
yeah,
the
that
rhythm.
can
So
happen.
yeah, I just didn't really know. Maybe it's a particularly bad Vanderbilt game, and maybe I shouldn't overreact to it. But this has been like a particularly bad Vanderbilt, like 4 or 5 games in a row. Like or however many games in a row. He just hasn't been very good since the opening of the Memphis series and one game in the Warriors series.
Yeah, I don't think you're overreacting. It's just like that. So in the regular season, I think a little bit more, but I mean, Jokic played 42 minutes tonight. So like non-Jokic minutes is like 6 minutes, right? So maybe like 3 minutes a half. I don't think like again those lineups are. I think both teams are kind of have the same mindset where like if you can tread both teams, you tread, and maybe you can win those 3 minutes, but I don't know how much you're gonna win a 3 minute span each half. So I'm not really particularly worried. But like to your point, he played 10 minutes tonight. I think that can get cut down. Rui, I don't remember exactly how much he played, but I'm sure
28.
he's gonna 28. Yeah, so I'm sure those will be up in the 30s as well going into game 2, and that cuts more of Vanderbilt's minutes. I just don't think this is a series for him. I thought he was fine game 1 against the Warriors, but these on-ball guards where he has to like navigate 3 screens at a time, and plus they're not okay with him switching, right? Because if you switch Vanderbilt onto like Jokic, you're toast. He just does not
Yeah.
have enough weight on him. So like there's no real place to play him. And that's why to me the non-AD minutes are just nice, where you have Rui and Vando out there. So like you can help LeBron rebound, and then your offense is running through one of the guards and LeBron. So that's my like answer for right now. Like if Wendon gets a chance, I'm not mad at it. It's just I don't think Vanderbilt's going to be a huge part of the series, because if he's not starting, as we've already seen, then it's just a tough place for him to get minutes from.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about the second half. So the Lakers, kind of tread water there in the third quarter, cut it down like marginally. They get what was, I think, at one point either a 20 or an 18-point lead. They cut it down what should have been going into the fourth quarter an 11-point lead. Then you get that insane like sideways stepping
That hurts.
rainmaking three to end the third quarter, and that 11-point lead jumps up to 14. But still, the Lakers kind of hang tight. They hang tight. They hang tight. They hang tight. And then I thought the biggest development coming out of Game 1, and it was something that I was kind of looking forward to anyway, heading into this matchup here.
Mm-hmm.
Ham puts Rui on Jokic.
Yeah,
And Rui, to his credit, man, Rui's a strong motherfucker. Like
big
he was,
dude.
he has that low center of gravity. And now look, like on possessions where Jokic has like 3 or 4 dribbles to just back him down, Jokic is still 290 pounds, and is going to move you eventually. But if you're making Jokic work that hard and not involve anybody else, while AD roams around and makes everybody else uncomfortable, that to me is I think the kind of move here moving forward until we see some way that that Mike Malone finds a way to counter. So yeah, I thought getting AD off of Jokic and able to roam around was kind of the starting point. The Lakers started getting more stops. They started getting out in transition. LeBron saw more open court in front of him, and I thought he got going too. I Do you think that is a sustainable approach here moving forward? Like it is as like plan A, or do you think they still kind of go to AD on Jokic and sprinkle this in occasionally?
Yeah, so like before the series, I thought that they would start LeBron on Jokic and start AD on Aaron Gordon. I just thought that's the way they've been playing. And the Rui
Yeah.
part, if you remember in the Memphis series, we had Rui on Jaren Jackson Jr. too, right? That was a huge
Hmm.
development of
And
moving
Cat
Rui on it,
in the play-in.
and Town, right, and on Towns as well. And that's just a really nice development. And I think it puts AD in his best spot. And I thought like we saw a lot of that where like the Jamal Murray and Jokic pick and roll just killed us on every single time. We had no clue what to do because we had our guys chasing around. And Rui at least helps that you can switch that a little bit more with AD on the backside. And to your point, it's not just making Jokic work on his back downs, but it's also like forcing him to make tough passes, right? So he has to slide passes to Aaron Gordon, who's at the dunker spot. And I think the counter will be they'll just move Aaron Gordon out of the paint and try to, force the ball into him or have him set off ball screens. But I think the Lakers kind of live with that and feel like they can get back to it. But yeah, if AD's being able to roam, that's just a tough thing for any offense to score on, even these, Denver Nuggets, who were incredible tonight. But I think I think that's what we're going to start game 2 as. It's going to be Rui on him. I think LeBron's going to get some time on him, and Jokic is going to score. The thing you can't happen, though, Anthony, is what happened tonight, where Jokic is just in free flow. Like, I'm getting my 30 and I'm getting my 15 assists and I'm
Yeah.
getting my 6 offensive rebounds. Now, the offensive rebounds aren't really connected to that part of it, but like that's the part where you're dead. Jokic is going to destroy you in multiple facets of the game. Pick your poison. That 3 that went in at the end of the quarter, that's good defense. He had one play. They ran a curl for him, and like he curled into a 3. And I'm like, there's nothing you can do with that. Like there's
Yeah.
just absolutely nothing. He had another play where they ran like an Iverson cut for him, and we like overcommitted, and KCP shot out for an open 3, and that's insane for Jokic to be coming off that cut anyway. But like you can't overhelp and overreact to those type of plays to me. And I thought we did that in the first half. Second half, a lot more AD one-on-one. Let Rui at least get the body blows, and then AD can come over. I think that is the strategy there. And if Jokic is going to score those over Rui, I think you have to kind of take that. You just can't have KCP also drop 20, Aaron Gordon getting cuts, MPJ getting loose. That's what kills you. So I think that is sustainable. I think that's what we do in game 2.
Yeah, Jokic tonight, 34 points, 14 assists. That's like at least 80 points that he was directly responsible for, depending on how many shots were made from 3-point range off of his assists, how many N1s he created and stuff like that. And then you add to that the 6 offensive rebounds, right, that are also going to directly produce points, either from him scoring or like another opportunity there. And yeah, like he was, look, man, like if he isn't the best player in the NBA, he's damn close, right? Like he's really effing close to the best player in the NBA. You saw the best player in the NBA's best game tonight. And again, the Lakers they made a game out of it. 132 to 126 was your final. I thought AD responded to that best game that Jokic could throw. Like sometimes you'll see, like, one of the maddening things, especially against Giannis in the regular season, is sometimes like Giannis will just have that kind of game, and you'll see AD just kind of like, well, it's a Thursday in November, whatever, and just kind of move on. In this case, though, AD sees that 34, 21, and 14, which, good Lord, what a stat. And then AD though goes for 40 himself, 10 boards of his own, 3 steals, 3 assists, 2 blocks. So like I thought
that's an insane line for anyone.
Yeah.
That's sad that it gets hit in tonight's game.
I think that's two games though where I think his 2 highest scoring games this postseason have actually come in losses, which is I'm not really sure what to make of that, but yeah, like I think on one hand, you just got to tip your cap, especially given some of the shots that Jokic was hitting. He hit that. There was a Sombor shuffle that he hit at like the elbow when the Nuggets had like nothing going for themselves. He hit that again, like 30-foot Sombor shuffle that almost hit the scoreboard that hangs over the top of the court. It was shot so high. Like there were some things that Jokic was doing that sometimes he's just going to do, and good job, bud. But I thought, though, like the way that you match that is to hit some similarly insane shots. And I thought AD had his touch around the basket really well. He knocked down a 3. He was shooting mid-range jumpers with confidence. I thought it was a great AD game. And I thought that it's a great AD game that I don't think he's going to score like the way that he did tonight. But defensively, if he's able to move off of Jokic and is able to impact like their offense in general in the same way that he was against Golden State and the same way that he was against Memphis, he doesn't have to score 40. If he can have that impact defensively, I think he can still be, a similarly impactful player as Jokic, so long as the Lakers continue to allow him to roam and play that free safety role on defense.
So that the biggest takeaway for me in this game is that AD and LeBron are going to be able to get whatever they want on offense, and Jokic has nothing for him, and he's playing very much like don't foul defense. Like you could see Jokic when AD gets in front of the rim, he's just not trying to do anything other than slap the ball down, not even trying to block shots, and AD can get whatever he wants. That's why it was so frustrating seeing the LeBron 3 at the end there, because I thought we're getting it inside every single time. The pick and roll, that that pocket pass is right there for him. He took a fading 3 off the pin down, and that was like the first time he shot like a 3 fading off that action in forever. I was like, man, he feels good about his jumper. Hit another mid-range jumper tonight. I think he's shooting like 51% on mid-range jumpers in the playoffs now. But yeah, 14 for 23. Again, it's sad that this game gets lost in the ether because Jokic was just insane, but 40 points for him. And I thought all of them were great looks. I didn't think he forced anything. He could have went 17 for 23, honestly, tonight, Anthony. I didn't think any of those were forced. They weren't contested at the rim. He's right there. Jokic isn't going to block his shot. And that little paint part right there is where he has incredible touch and had some dunks, got some shots that could have been and ones, and got to the line a little bit. I'm so like I'm really excited because I think he can get his baskets here if we can clean up the defensive end like you talked about and have his defensive impact be there. You're still gonna have to have Jokic, have AD on Jokic on possessions. Like you can't have just a full diet of Rui or LeBron on
Yeah.
him. There's gonna be possessions where AD has to switch over. But I think like
I think Jokic was almost like surprised to see Rui on him. And I think he was
yeah,
super surprised that it was as difficult to move Rui as he was. But Jokic, like the thing in watching Jokic, the thing that makes him absolutely special to me is he will not get bored. Like he eventually he's going to figure something out. He's very like he has that microprocessor brain that you see
sure.
in great players. Eventually he's going to figure you out, and then when he figures you out, he is going to go right back to that same thing over and over and over and over again. So while it was nice to see Rui have that impact on Jokic tonight, like you're saying, you have to mix that up, and I think you have to stay a lot more committed to just letting AD have his shot at Jokic
Yeah,
on some of those possessions. Stop like digging down and over helping when AD is guarding Jokic there. I think the Lakers can maybe do a little bit more work against him before he catches the ball. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know that I would bank on Jokic being as bad as he was against Rui tonight. Like you see this from Tinney, right? Rui held Jokic to 6 points on 0 of 2 field goals and 2 turnovers. Like I don't think he's going to be that bad against Rui again moving forward. But it's just a matter of like, um, can you offer enough help when he's on Rui to make sure that he
exactly.
doesn't figure him out over the course of the series?
Well, it's can you control the terms of engagement, right? It's not that Jokic can't score on Rui. He absolutely can. It's that Rui was doing a nice job. Like if AD's help is middle, he's like, all right, I can't let him spin the baseline. Like I gotta make him go middle. And AD got a nasty block on one where he turned and just blocked it out of bounds. And yeah, like you can't help one pass away. That's too easy for Jokic. Those
Yeah.
KCP threes were way too easy. When you dig down and you don't like you're in no man's land kind of where you're like you're not in a full double and you're like too far away, that's where you get in trouble. If you're going to help, it has to be on the weak side where like he at least has to hit a skip pass. That one pass away I thought killed us. But like I think if AD
I
is
actually
allowed,
think the one that you're thinking about too, that KCP one,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was a double reset. Like I'm pretty sure.
yes,
So like
happened
you helped
twice,
off
right?
of on the same play, you helped from one pass away twice. Like
Hmm.
it's bad enough to do it once, and you know that you're probably gonna Jokic is gonna figure that out pretty quick once, but to do it twice on the same play, Reeves,
Not
dude.
not just that, KCP was cooking. Like it's not like he was cold and he was cooking us. He had like 10 in the quarter at that time. And yeah, we
Yeah,
walked away from him and he just knocked out another one. Again, knives straight to the heart, wearing the wrong jersey, etc. But yeah, like I think if you have to be disciplined, Steph Curry forces you to be disciplined in a different way. You have to be disciplined. Like if Jokic hits 3 straight post up like hook shots on you, you have to be like, all right, like that's like you gotta kind of stick with your game plan in a way where you can't overcommit because that gets in doing it. There's a lot of plays you'll see Anthony where Jokic drives and like he's not even looking to score. He's like looking for the lob to Jeff Green. He's looking for the cutters, and he's like really like his whole thing is to try to pass on those possessions. And I think not forcing him to be a scorer, that's too like easy like of a term, but like I think you have to pick your poison on those. And I'm like, if I can just get contest on him, the mid range shots, the Sombor shuffles. I think that's how it's called. Like all those kind
yeah.
of those shots there. Like you have to kind of live with those through the game and hope that you kind of shut down everyone else and you win the numbers game that way. But I thought like second half, I thought that's a sustainable process to me. Jokic, LeBron, AD. That's a tandem I think that can rotate out on Jokic in terms of in one-on-one matchups with other guys helping and also being able to double at like on in circumstances. But yeah, I liked what I saw tonight. I don't feel as bad about this loss as I think I should.
Well, that I think is the perfect segue to kind of zooming out a little bit and looking at kind of grander scope takeaways, right? On one hand, I don't think Denver is ever going to shoot like that ever again, let alone like in this series. The shots that they were making like hesitation, contested 3-pointers off of the dribble. Obviously the miracle shots that we saw from Jokic and Murray. KCP was just it. The stat the box score says that he was 3 of 8 from 3-point range. You're all lying. I'm sorry. He was 8 for 3 from 3-point range. It felt like over the course of that game. And you look at the numbers here at the end of this one. On Denver's side, 55% from the field, 47% from 3-point range on 32 attempts. Right, that's volume, and then 77% from the free throw line. So you're saying like that was about as good as you can hope for if you're Denver, right? You also look at Jokic's stat line; he was incredible. You got the 20. Oh, Michael Porter Jr. scored 15 in this one. And was really good defensively. Like that's about you might get a few more points from Porter Jr., but the combination of defense and offense from him, I thought really stood out to me. So like I really felt like over the course of the game that the Lakers got like the best that they could get from Denver and hung right there with them, despite spotting them 20 points in the first half. Despite just saying like, hey. We're just going to forget completely who we are. And they hung around. They got themselves back into the game. They were, I thought, one dumb LeBron 3-pointer that was way too predictable away from like really making some people nervous there.
You think that was legs, Anthony? Was that legs? Is that why he did that? Like I'm trying to process why it was 40 seconds left on the shot clock on the game clock. We had a full shot clock. Was it a 2-for-1? Like what was I'm trying to process.
Here's my thing. I believe Ham finished the game with a timeout in his pocket again. And on that one there, like I understand watching as a coach to see like if the Lakers can get something in transition. I get that, right? But once you're there and it doesn't look like anything is really developing, I just want him to call one timeout just to see if they could set up an ATO, just anything, anything, to get themselves a better look than that. But yeah, I think legs was part of it. Look, man, you have to play hard to come back from 20 points. Like you have to play really hard over a really lengthy stretch to get back into the game. I think also though, like LeBron always takes that shot, always. Like he's gonna take one of those every time they're in that stretch per game, and it either he makes it and it looks incredible, or he misses it and you then have to make up for that possession, and the Lakers just weren't able to make up for that possession. So I just I didn't like the shot when he took it. It was one of those like, no, come on. And it was also like one of the I felt that way like as he was dribbling into it, right? Where he's like, no, don't no.
You thought he'd shoot that when he started dribbling into it?
Oh, for sure, dude. Like he had the ball in his right hand. Like you saw him like positioning the ball even to get the grooves on it right. Like I just thought like, yeah, I had a feeling that was going in or going up, not going in. I haven't felt like it's been going in from 3-point range all playoffs. But like it reminded me of like being a dad and like I watch Avery sometimes and it's like, no, don't touch that plate. Don't Avery. Stay away from the knife. No, not up. There it is. She just stabbed herself. Damn it! Like it was a real gut wrench moment because I felt like I saw it coming, and then it happened, and it happened exactly like you thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, so the reason this was the point of the game. I think the last possession, they just started, like I said earlier, they just started putting Jamal Murray on LeBron straight up, right? Because he was hunting him on switches. So Denver's like, well, we'll just start with you on him. And they started doubling at the top of the key. But he was 0 for 2 from 3-point range before that shot. And he's been driving every single time on Jamal Murray. He was not settling at all game. All game. It was a drive every time. And he was getting right to the basket. He was getting fouled. He was getting layups. Or he was getting dump off passes to AD. Austin Reeves, we hadn't even got to him. The 2 big-time shots from 3 to put us within 3. Those are just him screening and being able to fade out from 3 and hitting huge shots. But I was like, man, we're up. It's 40 seconds left. You're not even any type of jump shot rhythm. LeBron didn't even hit a jump shot tonight, like at
Yeah.
all. Like so, like that's why I didn't think that was going up. I was like, oh, he's about to drive on Jamal Murray. We're gonna get something good. And I was like, oh man, and he like kind of aimed it at the end, wasn't even set. Like you can get that shot at any point of the shot clock. He took that with
Yeah.
like
18
10
seconds.
left, 18
Yeah.
or 18 seconds. Yeah, that
Um,
was rough.
I thought also, like the thing that I was really looking forward to in this series is the notion that like, because of the Warriors' specific combinations of like Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray, is you can actually run the LeBron AD pick and roll. And I don't think we ran it at all down the stretch. And part of that is because like they wanted to really attack Jamal Murray and really get at his legs. And look, like that is the kind of thing we saw it in the last series against Steph, right? Like that approach is over the course of a longer series going to wear down Jamal Murray, and maybe it impacts his legs over the course of this series by just having to deal with LeBron in the post time and time and time and time again. So maybe that's part of it, like looking at it, longer term, but also like maybe try just once to get Jokic in space. And if Murray is guarding you there, then cool. Like then AD can come up and set that screen, and now you have Murray switched on to AD, potentially in that spot. So I just it felt it I thought that while it was effective in stretches that AD was able to, or LeBron was able to go at Murray, I get why they went to it a lot, but I also felt like you could have mixed in some more action that involved people beyond just LeBron targeting Murray. I think Raj, you froze. Either he froze or I froze. That makes me nervous. Yeah, I was gonna say, and maybe if Raj is not here, from yeah, Raj dropped out. So if it is just me here for the remainder of this show, at least for right now, the macro takeaways here become interesting, and I'm curious what you in the comment sections have to say about it. So, like I said, the Nuggets probably not going to shoot like that again. The Lakers, you know, they got to the free throw line 26 times. They shot 11 of 24 from 3-point range, and they shot 55% from the field. Right, so the Lakers also had some hot shooting that they could maybe point to. Like if you're Denver, you're also maybe saying, hey, that was a really good shooting game that the Lakers had too. And maybe that might not be as sustainable. So like from a macro sense here, Raj, who do you think exits that game aside from the win, right? And that was the point that
Right.
like Andy had when I had him and Sam on after game one when the Lakers played the Warriors, was like, I asked him who feels better right now, and he said, well, the Lakers do, because they just picked up that win, and especially a road win.
Right.
In this case, Denver held serve and did so in what should have been, I think, convincing fashion, except it wasn't very convincing. So, I look, I think Denver fans are probably going to walk away from that and say there's parts of that are sustainable. I think Lakers fans are going to walk away from that and say like, yeah, the Lakers maybe figured something out there with Rui, and they also, I think, just as importantly, figured out what they can't do
Yeah.
in the small, like super small lineups. So I guess I'm like, if you're looking at it from a macro standpoint here, which takeaways are you leaning more towards?
Yeah, I think obviously Denver feels great. Like their job was to win at home, and I think game one is all the pressure is on the home team. Like you win all those regular season games to get home court for this exact scenario, and they held serve. But I think both teams can go through confident. I like if I like just as with the Lakers side, I feel confident. Like I think they found a lot of stuff that works. This feels like a series where LeBron and AD can get much more loose on offense than either of the past two series. And I thought LeBron looked ready, to take over on offense. And I thought Anthony Davis was great. He got shots that he should, convert at a high clip every single game. And I thought that the Nuggets hit some tough shots. they're capable of doing that 3 more times. They're more than capable of hitting super tough jump shots, but I thought we made them work. I thought the switch, Anthony, from Austin Reeves to LeBron on Michael Porter Jr., I thought that changed so much of the dynamic of their offense, because a lot of it early was just like, you got a 6'4" dude on a 6'11" dude. Like,
Yeah.
we're just going to give him the ball and let him shoot. And Austin was chasing, doing his best, but he's like two
Reeves is
feet
like
behind.
tickling his belly button
Yeah.
when Porter jumped, because he like not only is he like 6'9", he also elevates on his jumper.
Yeah.
He's
He's,
up there, and like like poor Reeves is just like he's trying to get up there and impact the shot, but at best he's like tickling his underarm. Like at best, that's the closest. You know, remember how like Shane Battier would go up there and he would put his hand like right in
cover the
Kobe's
face.
face. I don't think Reeves is tall enough to do that to MPJ. Like, even if that
No.
was exactly what he was hoping to do, like, I don't think Reeves could even like could face guard him that way, because of how high, how much taller MPJ is and how high he jumps. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that switch there, I thought changed a lot of their offense. MPJ hit one corner three, Anthony, that just broke me. The step back three over LeBron while we were like on our run too, and I think he was smiling on that one. But I thought we really kind of shut him out. And again, if they're gonna play Aaron Gordon, like I think we found where I would have started this game with AD on Aaron Gordon. I understand the concerns of that, but that was like my choice, and I think that kind of played out in terms of like if AD's on Jokic, he's gonna win some of those battles, but Jokic is gonna win a lot of those battles as well. And I think it just
yeah,
puts your too much of in a bind. I thought the Jokic Murray pick and roll takes AD out away from the paint, and that let Murray kind of cook, get to the rim, get loose on jump shots. And I thought like switching being able to switch that action a little bit more, and then send help on the backside to guys you are okay with the ball going to. I think that will work out a little bit better. But I think both teams can feel pretty confident, but like if I'm the Lakers, I'm like, look, we probably played the worst first half that you could have. The Nuggets made everything. It continued to in the third quarter. They had 70 points at halftime. And by the way, we scored 72 in the second half. Like I thought, I
yeah.
thought our offense was super solid. They had 60 of themselves, but we won the fourth quarter 34-26. And I thought we really found stuff. So it's gonna be exciting. I think game 2 though is a must win. I know you can't put must win on games that aren't actual elimination, but I feel like game 2
I've
is
never
one that
understood that rule. Like, so like, is there a different phrase that people are more okay with using for those games? Because like, okay, so you're saying that the only must-win game is when you can be eliminated if you lose, right?
right.
But you're saying that the series is never in concern, like you're never concerned about the series until you can lose the series? Like that doesn't make any sense either. So
That's
like,
true. Yeah.
should we call them like shouldn't lose?
Very important.
Or
Yeah.
like underlined games, highlighted games, circled?
It would be great if you could games. Like it'd be great if you could win this one. Yeah.
Please games? Like pretty please with a cherry on top? Or like with Avery, right? With Avery, if I say no to something, she goes and runs and asks mom, right? So it's like ask the other parent games. Like ask your mom games. That's what we're gonna call them from now. So the Lakers head into an ask your mom game too. Is what we're phrasing this. I lean more towards the Lakers feel again. The Nuggets feel better because they won, right? Inherently,
Yeah.
like the team with the 1-0 lead is going to feel better. George, yes, Avery is not undefeated anymore. It's a devastating blow to the Irwin family. I'm not kidding. As the Lakers were making their run, I was like, oh my God. I thought about waking up Avery and putting the jersey on her, like just sitting her on my lap and watching it. Like we need this magic, but yeah, Avery is now 5-1 on the playoffs. Still pretty good record, but not undefeated. No donuts for her. But yeah, I and look, this is me saying it, right? That like I am kind of always more pessimistic, but The Lakers, I think, figured something out that I think it's going to be really difficult for the Nuggets to, to counter with, unless
Yeah.
like the counter might just be Gordon has to knock down threes, which over the course of a series, like you always see this where the guy who has to make threes typically fades over the course of the series. Like we saw it with Vanderbilt, where I think the first game against Memphis, he knocked down a few, especially at home. He knocked down a few in that Memphis series, and then slowly but steadily, as more and more teams have figured out, like, no, you're just going to shoot, like whatever, we don't care. Over the course of his time in the playoffs, I don't think he's made a shot from 3-point range since like game 3 against Memphis, maybe game 4 against Memphis. I don't think he made a three against Golden State. But yeah, I think the thing with Gordon that is going to be really key here is like the adjustment for Denver is Aaron Gordon just has to step out and make shots. And I also think, by the way, like even while the Lakers were on their run to get back into the game, I think LeBron needs to be better or whoever is guarding Aaron Gordon has to be better at keeping him off of the glass, because if
Yeah.
you make it so that like the only way he can impact the game is to make those corner threes and he stops making those corner threes, that not the only way he impacts the game, because he still plays really good defense, but if the only way that he's going to impact the game is offensively is by making those corner threes, and that kind of slowly dwindles as you kind of expect it, as he gets less and less confident taking those threes, that really alters what they're capable of. So, like even while I think the Lakers figured something out, I still think they can improve on even what we saw from them in the second half. So, yeah, I think obviously Denver having the 1-0 lead is good for them, and that's really all that matters right now. But in this like pivotal ask your mom game, I think the Lakers have a lot less that they feel like they have to figure out than Denver might.
Yeah, and I also thought like I know like the legs for LeBron might have went out and he played 40 minutes, but I didn't feel like it was a huge energy like game where they
No.
had to exert so much energy on both ends. I just didn't feel that way. LeBron was running around on MPJ, and I'm sure that takes out his legs a little bit more, but they don't run so many actions for him. It's usually just one set and then he goes and stands in the corner. It's not a lot of like Klay Thompson, Steph Curry 24-second motion. And you saw their offense stagnate a lot where it was like Jokic looking for cutters, and if all those switches are played well, then Jokic starts to back down and takes his one-on-one shot. Jamal Murray got in his like one-on-one bag. Those aren't like plays where LeBron and AD have to exert so much energy. So again, I think this is a series where they can really like pick their spots on offense, be super aggressive on that end. And like to me, Aaron Gordon's not going to take so many shots. To where his impact is what you touched on. It's the offensive rebounding. It's him going and attacking the glass off of AD leaving him, right? And to me, that's on Rui Hachimura. That's on LeBron James going and putting a body on him. If AD comes over to help on Jokic, someone has to go put a body on Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
You
Find
can't let
him,
him.
check him. Yeah.
Exactly. He can't get a free run to the rim. And we gave up a really big late offensive rebound where Austin Reeves fouled him. And I think we
Yeah.
were down 3 and he got offensive rebound, fouled him, and Aaron Gordon split from the line. But like those are the plays where he can make his impact. I don't think he's going to take a bunch of jump shots. 34% from 3 this year, 33 last year, 26 the year before. He's just not a 3-point shooter. He's a better corner shooter than regular round. But in any case, the Lakers are going to live with that. And I just don't think that's
Yeah.
where he gets his shot from. What kills tonight, though, is Bruce Brown having 16 and KCP having 21. That's murder. That's murder for you.
Yeah.
KCP took 17 shots tonight. Like if you let KCP get 17 shots up on volume, that means you're getting him great looks, right? Because KCP isn't creating off the dribble very much. So he's getting wide open looks. Here was his shot attempts against the Suns, Anthony. 8 shots, 6 shots, 4 shots, 7 shots, 6 shots. Like took 17 tonight. He got way too loose, and letting him and Bruce Brown cook us really hurts the margins when Jamal Murray's went nuclear and then Jokic was having the game he had. So clean those things up, and I think we're looking good for game 2.
Well, this is what I wrote as far as guard play coming into the series, because the guards I thought was an underrated advantage in Denver's
Mm,
direction, right? The point that the initial starting point here, Denver's guards are pretty brutal, are a pretty brutal combination of physical, athletic, and just generally tough. They're basically all the antithesis of Jordan Poole, who was borderline unplayable by the end of that second round. Murray can be devastating in the pick and roll. KCP is, well, we saw what he was capable of during that championship run. He's been exactly what Denver hoped he'd be when they traded for him. And Brown is really effing good defensively and can go off to really put games out of reach. That's exactly what we saw. You know, when Denver was playing at their best, the thing that really kind of like broke your back were those KCP threes, were those Brown threes, were like Brown taking D'Angelo Russell off of the dribble on a straight line drive, on a make. Like the Lakers would make a basket and it would be like semi transition, and Brown would just go dribble right through Russell and actually got an and one. Now that I'm thinking about it,
yeah, he did.
on that play, so you know, I thought Reeves started slow, but eventually kind of like got his legs underneath him and was ready for the challenge there. It was an okay, I think, Schroeder game. I think he didn't stay attached in the way that you need him to stay attached in order to continue to play him. And then it was a bad D'Angelo Russell game. Like it was just an outright bad game from him. So, and he didn't play down the stretch. So yeah, in whether it's getting back to LA and hitting shots from those guys or whatever, I just think that you can't have that stark an advantage in Denver's direction with your backcourt. You know that Jokic is going to be tough. You know that Jokic is going to be the best player in this series. You can't also give Denver another advantage on the perimeter, because the only guard who shows up is your second year undrafted guy. Like Dennis Schroeder won an award previously. D'Angelo Russell was a $30 million player. Like those guys, the guy that you trust here can't be Austin Reeves. Like it can't only be Austin Reeves. You need more than just
Sure.
him. And in this one, Schroeder played down the stretch and I think was a part of that run, hit a couple big threes or at least one big three there. But yeah, I thought it was a weird game from him, outright bad game from Russell, and a good game from Reeves. While the Nuggets got good games from all three of their guards. All three of them played well.
Yeah, and again, you talk about AD having his stat line kind of hidden within this game. What about Jamal Murray? 31, 5 and 5
Yeah.
with 3 steals and 1 block, and it's just gonna go in as like, oh yeah, Jamal Murray also had 35 and 5. And again, it like Jamal Murray can do that. He's like of that. He's close to all-star caliber. But again, you can't have that, and then also the KCP production, and then the Bruce Brown killing you. So I think there's a lot of stuff to clean up. Jamal Murray went 4 for 8 from 3. Like I thought a lot of those, Anthony, were tough. Some of those were like he got off loose, like in terms of where we weren't attached to him on the screen, but some of those was just like step back, 3 over a good contest. And those are shots that you're just gonna have to kind of live with him and Jokic kind of taking in their 2-man kind of dance that they do. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff to take from this. I thought our defense in the second half, especially, was good process. A lot of that ended in bad results, but I thought the process was really, really good. And being able to switch LeBron or Rui onto him, I thought made it a little bit more difficult to where. And then Dennis, I thought, did a good job chasing around, trying to not get screened. I think that's the biggest thing. Austin was getting destroyed on those picks, and I thought Dennis does the best job out of all of our guards of staying skinny and staying attached. And that's what you have to do with Murray and against Jokic, and try to draw some offensive fouls. He kind of fell on one, didn't get the call. Murray missed the 3 anyway. But I think those are stuff that game within the game, trying to game the system a little bit like he does. I think that's important, guarding guards that are so tough to stay with in the first place. So yeah, I'm excited. I think we have a good shot for game 2, and just clean up a few things here and there, and things can go different. I would have loved to have this one though. Like it was right there. It was right there. Down 3.
I
LeBron's
mean,
3
really,
ended
the,
the
the, the
game.
difference here is starting small.
Yeah.
Like you don't start small. You don't give up an 18-point lead in that first half and force yourself to come back from that. You're very capable of winning game 1. the one, I guess, cup of cold water that I'll dump on people, and I apologize. This is just who I am. But the fact that the Lakers didn't win the game that they unleashed their big counter, right? With having Rui on Jokic and having AD roam around and have that catch Denver off guard like that. Like you want to win that game. When you unleash
Yeah.
that and throw them off of their rhythm to the extent that it did, now they have an opportunity to go back, look at the tape, and figure out ways to potentially counter it. And like if you're gonna do that, you kind of have to win that game. And they came close, and they did a lot that makes you feel good about that here moving forward. But like now, they're gonna go back to that well again in game two, and Denver's gonna be better prepared for it. And that it puts maybe that much more pressure on you to be that much better in those minutes now that Denver is expecting them. Sorry,
Yeah, I
everybody.
honestly,
I'm sorry.
I honestly didn't think they thought they would get this close. Like it was like an 18-point game, and then they
Yeah.
were just like, yeah, let's just try this, try to stop the bleeding a little bit, and it just worked. They went on a 9-0 run. Austin hit two big time threes to cut it back to three before they kind of took over at the end. But yeah, I thought about that too. I thought that's why he didn't change the starting lineup to start the second half. Like we went right back to the Dennis, Austin, and D'Lo to start the second half, and we made our run a little bit there. But yeah, that's something that they have in their back pocket. And again, I think the counter is just Jokic is gonna try to score a little bit more, hit some fadeaways, and I think you just have to be disciplined and be like, that's the shot you're taking. That's stuff that we kind of have to give up, and he can score off that definitely efficiently. I think you have to stop their wheelhouse from working, where they get the ball moving, where Jokic is hitting no look passes to KCP cutting. Like that's the stuff gets their crowd going, gets them in transition, and just gets them running in a way that makes them difficult to beat. So, yeah,
Yep.
that's a good point though. They have it on tape.
All right. That is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge. Again, Denver winds up winning 132 to 126 and take a 1-0 lead over the Lakers heading into a really important Ask Your Mom game. Lakers have one day. LeBron mentioned this, and it's kind of stuck out to me. But he mentioned that like the first game in Denver is actually kind of the tougher one to play because you aren't as used to it. But when you live, when you're in Denver for 72 hours, that over the course of that time, maybe you can get a little bit more used to the altitude. So I guess we'll kind of see how the Lakers respond to it. AD played hard, man, and
Sure.
that is going to be a factor here. We'll see how game two goes. I think the most kind of definitive takeaway that I have from this game is it feels like a 7-game series. This feels like a very evenly matched series. This feels like two teams that are going to go back and forth over the course of this thing, and the margins are going to be really thin, as I think they were in this one. And those like little mistakes that you make are really going to hurt when you make them both ways, right? We'll kind of see which team A makes fewer mistakes and B takes further advantage of the mistakes when the other team makes them. But until we find out more of that, and until we get bigger sample sizes and talk to you guys again, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Raj Chapalu, and this has been the Lakers Lounge.